Welcome back to another edition of Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex 45. And this evening, we're going to be talking MotoGP, World Superbike, and Enduro racing, and a lot of in-betweens because I see TJ got a shock in the back of his view there. So there's going to be a lot of track talking and stuff like that. And I just completed my first enduro race, and I will say, if you ever feel like climbing Mount Everest or some crazy challenge, running a marathon or anything like that, it's the thing to do. My name is Rex 45. Welcome to Be Forever Cool podcast. Let's bring TJ in. What's going on, TJ, man?
How you doing? Doing good over here. Just still cold. I know you guys are feeling it down there too. So welcome to the winter.
Bro, listen, for the longest time, I'm just in a hoodie because I'm from Boston. This is nothing. This is nothing for the longest time. Then I went up to Jennings, 5-6 hours north of me. And I had on a thermal Under Armour. I had on a hoodie. I had on the Patagonia jacket.
Yeah, that cold weather, when it hits you, it changes your mood for sure.
Yeah. Why do we live in Boston in places that get cold? Do you know?
I don't. I love the mountains and the roads, and I'm a city boy, so maybe that's it. But the season's changing. I just really hate how long the winters are. Maybe I have to get into some more outdoor activities in the winter somehow. Seeing all my race buddies doing ice racing and all that good stuff outside. So see what I can do maybe next season.
No doubt. I recommend you move to Florida, TJ. But let's bring the crew in. I don't know how Smitty was faring in Atlanta because if Jennings was cold, bro, I mean, you guys are ice skating up there, man. Welcome to the show, man. I see you got short sleeves on again. Is it nice in Atlanta today?
You know what? Nice is about in the high 50s, so it's not bad. But it was pretty bad last week. Had some snowstorm that shut down the entire city for a couple of days. About an ice storm, about an inch of snow, and everything shut down. Airport, planes stopped flying for a while. Stores was closed, so it's pretty bad out here. So,
Now, let me ask this: do you think is it the people that don't realize like they should have better tires? Or do you think it's just the snow's that bad? Because people up north, and I know track stars is ready to jump in because we're sitting here acting like we're in Alaska, and I know he's like, y'all don't know what cold is.
No.
Do you think if you guys had better tires? Because to me, there's a misconception in the sense that like you can run around with damn near ball tires and you think your tires are good.
The racing slicks on, right?
You get some ice or snow.
Nah, so it's not the tires of the people, it's the lack of equipment. Because down here, it might snow once every 2 years and we probably get an inch. Mm-hmm. So for city to buy, a couple hundred snow plows and have, 1,000 pounds of salt for when snow happens, down here, we don't have that stuff like they have in Boston. Boston, right. They know it's going to snow tomorrow. They are right now putting down salt on the road. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In Atlanta, it's not the same way. So we sit there, the snow comes down, there's no salt, no sand, no snow plows. It just sits there and melts and turns to ice. That's why. So it is bad, yeah.
All right. So one last question. Go ahead.
Now, so 1 inch would paralyze the whole city for a couple of days.
All I can say is, man, toughen up a little bit. Last but not least, track stars, man. I think you're on mute, my brother. So definitely hit that unmute button.
Come on, man. These Honda dudes, you know what I'm saying? They don't make them tough out there. They said 1 inch will paralyze the city, people.
I don't even think you're changing your rims with 1 inch of snow on the ground, right?
Man, 1 inch. I'm riding my bike out there. I'm doing laps. Laps.
Man, it's crazy. We're gonna have fun tonight, man. It is season for the podcast, and I'm excited for it all. And it's crazy. Now, I'll ask this. Philadelphia, are you claiming Philadelphia being so close right now with football and them getting to the Super Bowl?
Hell no.
Okay. Just checking, my brother. Everyone, man, welcome to the show, man. I think Smitty, we can't gripe down here with just a little bit of cold, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all you got.
Ducati Red, baby, that KC, Kansas City, baby.
But hold on. When it snowed, I was on my bike outside riding around, man.
Yes.
Okay,
You was
that's what's up.
Yeah,
you was riding around in your mind.
No,
You said the whole city paralyzed. It's like, yo, 1 inch of snow paralyzed the whole city out here of Atlanta.
It paralyzed me. I was on my dirt bike riding around, man.
I'll be one of those because, like, being from Boston, if they told me if I moved down to Atlanta and they said the city shut down for 3 days, no, I couldn't be trapped like that. No, I'd have to find a way to get somewhere.
It was bad.
Yeah, Boston gets hit hard too with the snow. They get cold over there too, boy.
Yeah,
you gotta tough it out.
It's we know what the negative temperatures are like. That's why it's hard for me to. I mean, now I'm sitting here thinking, how did I stay so long in Boston? Because today was in the 70s, and I was just like, what? How was I there for so long? And Track Stars, you're in NY, and TJ, you're in Boston still, and stuff like that. There is life where you don't have to see snow ever.
Right.
Yeah, but we don't gotta see alligators and snakes and stuff like that neither. You know what I'm saying? We don't deal with hurricanes. We don't deal with none of that. So
but y'all got rats and roaches though.
I never heard somebody lose a leg over a rat bite. You know what I mean?
You guys got a fair point about down here, man. You definitely. I'm glad I grew up in the city because I still don't sleep. I'm just looking out for critters now instead of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't sleep for sure. But
here, if it's too quiet, there's danger. As long as there's noise and stuff going around, everything's regular. Okay. Over there, if there's a little noise, y'all jumping out the window, So it's a different adaptation.
Definitely. Let's get into it, man. TJ, man, I see you got the shock in the back. I see you got the belly pan. What do we do? What are we doing? Service? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is that time of year.
Yeah, it's that time of year. Finally, pulled the bike out of the garage and brought it over to Jim. Our buddy Jim Acombo. He helped me take off my forks and rear shock. I'm gonna take that over to Tim Hogan SuperBike Services and get it serviced up. So get it fresh and ready for the start of the season. So it was my first time removing it by myself, with Jim. So it's a pretty cool process. And another check mark in the book where get some more work done.
Yeah, I mean that's a big deal because that's something. To hear Jim tell it, you got to get your oil changed in the Orleans fork or shock every 10 hours on the bike.
Every 10 hours? Shit.
I think it was higher than that. He did say something like that to me too. It was he said it in the hour form. So
right, yeah.
He's very go with his stuff. So I appreciate him because he's on point with everything. About a millimeter.
So what you're saying, Smitty, is that you're not changing your fork oil every 10 hours of racing?
No, I probably do it every season once, but that's it though. I'm trying to think. But in one season, am I doing 10 hours though?
That's what I was gonna just say. Yeah, when you think about it, we're doing about 10 to 15 minute races. and it depends how many races you're
Track
doing,
days and
yeah, and track days too, as well. So yeah, so it's probably, that sounds about close to a season, I think, for most people, if they're doing 2 to 3 races a weekend, or doing, I mean, if they're out once a month, they're, I mean, you know, unless they're crazy where they're doing, you know, every session. I mean, you can get away with it with a track day on Friday, and racing on the weekend. You could probably get an hour's worth of time in, for sure. But if it's racing, if you know, so obviously there's guys and women that are doing as many races as they can, meaning that they'll do 6 races a day. So if you're doing that, then it's probably 2 hours, so probably half a season. But if you're doing 6 races, 15 minutes, what's my math? So every 4 races an hour. So
yeah, true. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, how many people are actually doing that?
Not
Changing. What do you got to say, Track Stars?
I'm thinking like I've never done that. But then again, I change my bike probably every year. Every 2 years, I get a new bike. So yeah, I would say I've never changed the oil of my suspension.
Yeah.
I think and I would say I'm pretty close to 10 hours a season on the track. For sure.
Well, I would probably say it's more if you're racing. I mean, I think if you're just doing regular riding, I think it's going to be normal intervals as a bike. But I think if you, like in your case, if you're doing, you know, 6 or more track days a year, you probably should change your oil probably every year at least once.
That is great advice, and I'm sure it's not even probably that expensive to do that.
Well, so that's the catcher, right? Because TJ will tell you. Go ahead, man. Tell them what's the difference between you having that in the back and having Jim help you versus you dropping your bike off.
As you see, the shock's right here instead of the bike going to the shop. So it's just like bringing your tire to the dealership as opposed to bringing the bike. They charge you that fee
to take it off.
What is it?
So
how long did it take you? How long did it take
you? Labor?
I'm not sure what the labor is. I mean, it's the first time doing it with Tim, but I got an estimate.
Right.
To service the Ford.
But how long did it take you? How long did it take you and Jim to take off the shock and strut?
I mean, well, since he was pretty much teaching me how to do it, and he was helping me along the way, it took us about an hour and a half.
Okay,
it wasn't even that long.
All right, and then so what if you took the bike there? What would they charge you?
I forget what the forks on when I first got my first estimate. It was almost 800.
Good Lord, man.
And then you dropping it off, how much is it?
So with the forks and the spring now, the rear shock, it's like 7 something. So
what?
Right. And that is why I say learn to maintain your own bike. It saves you money, you know? Seriously.
Nah, my brother. If I get that wrong, it's all wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's the longevity. So when I got the bike from Rex, I mean, he took well care of it. And I had it since 2021. And I brought it to track days and raced on it. And I did pretty much everything else besides service the oil and the rear shock and the forks. I mean, I've done the oil change and what have you. But I just feel safer making sure everything is fresh. You know, it's just like an oil change. I don't want any leaks or any busted seals because it can happen over time, you know, especially you do get faster. So,
right.
You know, you just want to make sure everything is right. I mean, your life's on the line. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of people can't afford it. It took me a long time to get to this point, but definitely getting ready to make it happen.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, now that you said that, I have changed the fork seals. And when you change the fork seal, I believe they do the oil.
Right. Yep.
So I've done that, and it's not even expensive. Like for real, it's not $800.
A lot of people has blown forks a lot on street bikes. But I mean, this is a different cartridge. I have Olin's suspension, so I mean,
You know,
I'm not sure.
Ducati, baby. That's all it brings, basically.
But you know, I do. You Trackstar believe that they're treating you like a normal customer?
No, not
Again,
100%. Anytime I talk about service, it's regular price. And if you mention Track Stars, they will take care of you additionally also at Ducati New York. But yeah, whenever I talk prices, I don't ever talk with a discount as far as I'm talking about regular price. Whatever the hourly wage is of the Ducati New York.
Gotcha. That's not bad.
I say what
Go ahead.
I was gonna say. What I was getting was an estimate, so it's not a final price yet. So
yeah,
I'm not sure.
And also, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, TJ. The initial quote you got was just for the forks, not the fork and the rear shock. And the price that you're mentioning is for the fork and the rear shock. By you taking both off and bringing all three off and bringing it to them, correct?
Yeah. First time it was I was going to bring the bike and have the forks service, but that was the higher price, and then bringing the forks
and the rear
shock with the bike, off the bike. Yeah, so it's under the price of bringing the bike. So it's been a lot more expensive to bring the whole bike and get it serviced.
Nah, man, more power to you, TJ, man. I respect that. You know, do it yourself halfway type of service here on YouTube. I'm bringing it, you know, full service to the. I ain't doing those type of things myself. I just learned to change my tires myself, and that was an obstacle within itself. You know, yeah, we're not doing that.
Smitty, Smitty, I know you got a lot to say because you're a handyman of all sorts, you know, you hear TJ, you hear Track Stars, and I'm in the middle of both you guys because I wrench some stuff and some stuff I'm like I pay people to do, so I'm in the middle of. I'm not you're 100%. Who you wrench your bike 100%?
Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this started when I was a kid, just working on bicycles. You know, like I was a kid, like in the neighborhood, if somebody had a flat tire, yo, Smitty, yo, come Chris, yo, can you fix my bike? Yeah, and that's how it started. And since then, I've been wrenching on bikes and cars a little bit, but I don't like doing cars. And with the bike thing, it just saves money. And because for me, I don't trust people that often, so it's like I feel better knowing that I did it myself. It's just also a mental thing. So because one time I had some shop balance my tire, and I thought they did a good job. I went to the track, got on the brakes, fight the whole time just doing this. I'm like, what the hell is going on, man? Yeah, it was terrible, man. So I bought a balancer. I balanced my tires also, because I don't trust anybody. So it's a trust thing, honestly.
Yeah.
And let me ask this, Smitty. How many times have you got it wrong? And do you feel like you say in fixing the problem if you've gotten it wrong the first time? Was it cheaper than still taking it to somebody?
Have I gotten it wrong where it cost me money? No. But I did mess up one time at the track, the time you was there. Remember?
Okay.
I left my oil cap open.
Yeah.
And I started the bike. And oil was sprayed out everywhere, man. You was there that time, man.
Yeah. Okay.
I had oil on my tires, everything, man. So yeah. But
right. So now TJ, does doing what you did with the suspension, and does that make you more confident in doing other things to the bike? Because like for me, I remember changing the engine on our R6. I had help from two people because I had a cast on my hand and staples in my gut. But that made me feel like, well, if I did it once, I can do it again. Does that give you more confidence to lean more towards Smitty?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if I had to change the suspension like on my street bike or something like that, or another bike, I'll be a good helping hand, or I can definitely assist because I've done it before. So definitely have more confidence for sure. When you get closer to the engine, that's when I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't want to mess with the engine. I know some guys who can drop an engine, rebuild it, put it back in, and see how it fires up. Like I want to get to that level, but that's that's uh that's when you know everything ins and out.
Got you. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone's words because this is more of an interview. Because I want to make sure you guys are ready for next year to do this endurance race, and we got a mechanic on board. We got a person that can do suspension. We got some riders.
Got a team, okay.
So let's talk about this endurance race I did over this weekend in Jennings. And I hope you guys do sign up to come on next year and spin some lap, because at the end of the day, it's pretty cool. So I got an invite from one of the guys that I've had on. These guys do a podcast called Florida Moto Talks, and they had a rider back out of the competition, which is called a Saparano Classic. It started in 2024. It's 2 3-hour races and 1 5-hour races. You can have a minimum of 3 riders to 5 riders. And so it was last minute. They invited me to come and ride, and I decided to. And one, it was like 28 degrees at night, and that's ridiculous to be at the racetrack to wake up on that. Everything has frost on it, tires, bikes. Everything has frost on it. We had frost. Is how chilly it was. But I will say this: after doing it, it's pretty cool. I think track stars, where you haven't raced, I think regardless of when you race, I think you'll find what we be talking about as far as just the racing. But in a team environment, it's something that's pretty cool because we're all working together. And I don't know if you've watched like either the Dakar or like these Baja races or the Rolex 24, where machine can break, humans can break, and some did. Shout out to Carrie. She broke all the ribs on her left side of her body and have collapsed lung in the crash. And there are a lot of bikes that broke. Carrie's she's a racer, but Smith cycle track days. They're in Mass. So her and her husband, they have a track day school, and so their team was Smith Cycle racing, and or rather Cycle Smith racing, and so it's yeah. So it's pretty cool to see. So yeah, so there's like 3 different categories. 400 super sport, 400 super bike, lightweight, and I think that was it, really 3. But it was pretty cool to be a part of, and ride. I did a half-hour stints. Which is for me is a lot. I usually, as Troy, or even you guys with track day, track stars with doing track days, it's usually like 20 minutes or something like that. As far as racing, we have those GTU races or GTOs, which are like 24 minutes. And like 30 minutes was different. It was interesting to see where my mind and body went, and how much more, even though I was in pain, how much more I got faster. It's crazy. And also there's a wall. This was my first time, so I recognize that there's a wall mentally and physically. The team owner, he did a race for an hour and a half, which was pretty impressive to be on a bike for an hour and a half, consistently hitting, close lap times. Maybe 3 seconds and variations and stuff like that, which was pretty impressive to see. So in hearing you guys talk made me think like, yeah, man, we should do a team for next year, and see what we can do. On a Ninja 400 or something like that. Nothing crazy. Well, the biggest bike you can have is like a RS660 or R7 or SV going to Jennings.
I was gonna say, you said 400s, and then you said lightweight after that. So like, what's the lightest bike? Because
well, so you could do there's 300. So there's 300 Superbike, 300 Super Sport, 400 Superbike, 400 Super Sport, and then I think it's lightweight Superbike. So you can run an RS660 in that. You can run the Ninja 4RR, the inline 400. You can run SV or R7. So nothing, no middleweight or bigger. This is Jennings too, so it's not a huge, it's Jennings.
I'm not gonna lie. When I first started racing, when I went to the track, like I didn't know what class to participate in because, like, just the mixed variations of different bikes and cylinders. Like I didn't know what was going on, and I always had to ask around. But I found myself jumping into the Superbike class, so I'm always racing with the unlimited and all the faster guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, those classes allow you to, if you like to tinker with your bike, the unlimited and the Superbike class and the heavyweight class allow you to do all the ridiculous stuff you want to do that you can't run in Super Sport because there's more rules in Super Sport. But would you guys be interested? I know Smitty's interested in enduro because we've talked off track.
Yes,
but I think we did over 300 and something laps in 11 hours.
Jeez,
that's a lot, man.
That'll be Trackstar's first intro to racing.
Say again?
That'll be Trackstar's first intro to racing.
Man, a couple people try to get me into the enduro because you know how you guys are saying like it's a group thing. You do as much as you can, and then you come out when you're ready.
Yeah.
Then you go back in, But man, I don't know, man. 300, 11 hours.
Yeah, I mean, in our case, we had 5 guys on the team, so it was split that way. But as far as like other teams, because there's a minimum of 3, so there were some teams that had 3. Now they had the Dreyer kids,
Avery and
Eleanor,
Ella and Avery.
Yeah, and I think there was one other kid, and they're fast. I mean, they're just they're just fast. But it's your bike breaks, right? Again, you break, so it's not if you're changing a tire and you mess up, or you fuel in and you mess up, so it's not like I hate to say it like this, but it's not mono e mono because it's like it's the elements. It's like it's not just how good you are. Your machine has to hold up or whatever, and not every rider has the same skill set, and there's a few people that's done these 2-hour. Shout out to I think of Lloyd Bailey, and I shout out RIP to him because he used to do the Azra races by himself. And there are a few human beings that do those 2-hour races by themselves, but for the most of us, there's a team.
Right.
Doesn't N2 does like some enduro racing.
Yeah.
I know they're big on it. I know this group, TBX Racing. They're actually handicap riders on wheelchairs, and they do the enduro racing, and pretty competitive too, racing against regular people. But they get the advantage of doing the enduro racing because of how it's set up, and they can catch and release, and then send the next rider off, and they can start from the pit and launch. So they get to participate in racing through this way of racing through enduro. So I'm very aware of the competition out there and the people out there who at the top of that type of racing. I know it's really intense, it's really serious, but I think they say they have the most fun.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, if you with a good group of people, right? It's you're still. I mean, there was one guy there, and he was just wrenching, right? He does track days, but he didn't race, but he was wrenching, and not just wrenching, tracking times and stuff like that, and coming up with strategy and stuff like that. So even if you're not on the bike, you're still for 3 hours, you're still locked in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And or 5 hours, depending on the race, you're still locked in. So, which is cool. And because somebody always got to be watching the rider because they're going to be signal when they're coming in, or if there's something with the bike or whatever, so you can prep for when they come in and stuff like that. So, I'm hoping to do more. And my first one was pretty good. We did win our class, which is pretty dope.
Wow.
I only have a
Congrats,
photo. Man. Thanks. I only have a photo of the trophy. I don't have the trophy, but if I have my own team next year, I'm gonna have the trophy.
Plug that in on the show. You gotta put that picture up for us.
Oh no, we'll definitely plug it in for sure. But definitely let's move on to World Superbike, because there was testing happening for World Superbike, so we're less than a month away.
Yeah, baby.
Is BMW going to run away with the series this year? We'll wait for track stars. Let's go with TJ, because it's Ducati every day, all day. I think you're under contract. I don't even think track stars can talk about another brand that he likes.
I'm not saying what track stars say, because I didn't really see much, but I know that it's going to be tight between obviously Ducati and BMW. I mean, Toprak is one to beat, and I mean, Ducati's they learned it from last year. And again, they're obviously developing machines, but I mean, like they develop faster than anyone out there. So, like, I mean, they'll figure out the mistakes pretty fast. As you see, Albert Bautista last year picked it up pretty quick at the end of the season. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna do much better. And when he all those,
and Bulaga was there the whole season. I mean, I think he just liked the experience.
And he was just I was gonna say he was a newer rider.
What's up, Smitty? I mean, Honda. I mean, Ika Lukuono. He was on the podium last year, and if you look at Gillum in the Super Sport in the US, the 1,000 stock, I should say, Honda was there. So I mean, we can't. I mean, it's not MotoGP. It's World Superbike. It's a different animal. And in BSB, the Honda was nice. Huh?
I said you and those Honda GP shots, man.
I was just saying I'm saying the Superbike, the production bike Honda is a nice bike.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah, solid. Yeah. But is BMW gonna run away with it? No. Toprak is, not BMW. It's a huge difference now. The bike is the BMW. It's a good bike, but Toprak, he's an exceptional, great rider. His talent alone would be good on any bike. So, but I think we Toprak once again, winning World Superbike next year. Ask my Honda boys, we'll see. Probably more top 5 finishes, but I like it. I like them next year. So.
Hey, listen, man. Do you honestly think Ika Lukuono and Xavi is sitting here saying Toprak is Rossi? Like, Ika's like, yo, I know I'm a better rider than him. I was in MotoGP. I'm like. And should be in MotoGP if you ask me still, because I think he got a bad rap at KTM.
Possibly, but I think, all right, you know what? I think all riders think they're better than the guys beside them, but we as fans, we all know they aren't. Some guys are better than others.
Ika's nice though. He's to me he's nice.
He's nice. They're all nice. They're all nice. But some guys aren't Toprak, honestly, All
right. Mr. Ducati track stars.
I'm just scrolling through here, through the World Superbike page. You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Top Rack all over this.
Top Rack, what? Listen, even Top Rack. I'm not sure if you guys is paying attention to social media and what's going on World Superbike, baby. But they're talking because it's time to talk. And it's time to show because they're out there testing. And you know what testing brings, right? Results. Results, my people. And even Top Rack knows with his little broken finger, oh my God, I feel bad for you, but I don't. Because you know who was out there hurt last season? And you was trying to smoke him? Alvaro Bautista, baby.
It wasn't just Alvaro that was hurt last year for Ducati.
You know, we're just going to bring up the big name, you know? His direct rival in the championship. And Alvaro, you know, he's gotten accustomed to that 20 pounds. If you saw towards the end of the season, he knew that guy was on him. So he knows that this year, Alvaro's coming back stronger, better, and with better acclimation to 20 pounds on that bike. And he's healed up. I believe, you know, last year I didn't believe too much about that injury. I thought it was more about the 20 pounds, but Alvaro's back. He's not complaining about no neck pain. They all complained about the weather because obviously it was a wet testing both days. The second day, people didn't even really go out. But hey, we were talking about last week. Scott Redding, baby.
I was just gonna bring him up. I mean, he's signed to BMW racing on a Honda. So is he gonna be the bowling ball for the bowling pin Ducatis?
Yo, he was the bowling ball when he came from British Superbike, winning that championship, and came to World Superbike and came in second place, and then third place the first season, second place the second season, and then he was out of there.
Right.
And off to BMW for bad mouthing the Ducati, but he's back on it. But guess what now, too? He made a crazy statement that I didn't know. He's basically racing for free. He asked for the team, he asked for the bike, and I don't know if it's coming out of his own budget too, but he's out there basically racing with no pain, you know. He's just out there to prove that he still has it and that this is the bike that he needed, not the BMW. So that's huge. That's a huge move, a huge statement, especially a man who just had a baby, just got married, and is out here to really risk it all and show that he's still the man on a motorcycle. Because there was a lot of questions when he went to BMW and he was best case scenario, you know, 11th, 10th consistently.
Right.
And I think once or twice he got into 5th.
Right.
But I know for a fact Redding can ride, and being back on Ducati, baby, Ducati, it's gonna be a problem. Boulaga, baby, taking off just like he did last year, right from the front, baby. Yo, Ducati is the best bike. That's why I rep it so hard. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry, people. Honda, I feel very bad for you. You know what I'm saying? I feel extremely bad for you. But you are on the grid. It is a representation. God bless. God bless.
Well, you know, I hear you there. The only thing I disagree with is you know men having babies. I think Scott Redding's wife is having a baby, not him. But
come on now.
But Inoni also paid for Ducati factory support last year on that Go 11 team. I don't know what their deal is this year. So the older riders definitely seem to be betting on themselves and putting their money where their mouth is. I don't know if that's what the future is going to look like. I know we see it in Motor America and other places where riders are definitely kicking in money like that. I didn't think we would be seeing it in World Superbike, where you're sitting here saying, I'm going to elect to not take any check, because he probably could have gone with another team that he didn't have to pay, and probably struggled the whole season. So do you guys think that, where we've talked about in the past about, how can riders don't have to do what Scott Redding is doing, what Mark Marquez had to do last year on Grassini, to not take pay and live off his sponsors or whatever. What are your thoughts on that from that perspective?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, if you're that good and if you can do that, you know what I'm saying, to just live off sponsorships. I mean, I'm not sure like how that process really works, but I mean, I think that would be a good route. I mean, that's how you gain your wealth.
Right.
But in the past couple of years, but I'm not sure when it started, but I don't know why riders got to pay for a ride. In the past, the teams paid for the ride. They paid the riders. You were good. You got a job. You wrote for the team. That was it. But the sport, the way it changed, that's one thing I don't like about the sport now. You got to pay for a ride, and some guys who are good, who have a skill, don't have the money and can't get a ride. And then you have some guys who just okay, but have the money and they could buy themselves, like onto the grid. And that part, I don't like it. So, but
No, but let me explain it a little bit better. Maybe I don't know. I'm not the pro. But from what I'm gathering as a whole, let's start with Mark Marquez, right?
Yeah.
Mark Marquez is on Honda, a bike that's really struggling. They're paying him the biggest contract in MotoGP. He says he doesn't want to be on the Honda anymore. He wants to win. So he says, I'm willing to go somewhere else. I want to go to a good bike. The best bike on the grid is a Ducati. The only seat possible that they can move around was Grassini. Grassini is the non-factory bike of Ducati. They get him the seat. He has to take a pay cut because you want to be on the best bike. Yeah. The best bike, they don't need you. They didn't need Mark Marquez. Everyone's doing good on Ducati anyway, but you want to experience the bike, you take a cut. Same thing that's happening with Redding. It's not that the companies is telling him, you want this bike, pay for it. No, this is the best bike. Everybody wants this bike. You want to come to this bike? We're not paying you millions of dollars to ride this bike. Come and ride it. And Redding was on factory Ducati team, and came across some complications with the team in order to continue moving forward. So he left. He chose to go and get the big money from BMW. Right. Found out that the bike wasn't as good as Ducati was. And now he's back on the bike, and it shows proof. And the first time he's on the bike, he places third best rider on the grid. And maybe could have even been higher if he didn't get the yellow flag on one of his best laps. Right. So, it's not necessarily paying for the ride. It's sacrificing your pay to be on the best ride. Because
I'm not quite sure. Okay, so I understand taking a pay cut, but riders do pay to be on that bike nowadays.
No, that's a fact.
Right.
And those riders, most of the time, are riders that are not of the high echelon of caliber rider. And then let's say you have that type of money and you say, yo, I want to ride World Superbike. And they say, well, if you want, then pay to play. You got the money, come ride all day and be in the end of the pack. But in World Superbike, I don't think that this type of scenario is happening. I think it's what I'm talking about. People saying, I want to be on the best bike and I'm willing to take a cut over him to ride that bike.
Gotcha.
Because I can win on that bike, and then my sponsors will take care of me at the end, or I'll have an opportunity to go to that factory bike where I once was in Redding's case.
Right.
But tell you what, how
Go
about we
ahead.
start? How about we start one of those like GoFundMe's, raise some money, and get one of us on a bike someplace, man. You know.
Man, we'll take you to Moto America. Don't worry. I'll be your umbrella boy.
That'll work, man.
Yeah,
It's been done before.
Huh?
Go ahead, TJ.
I was gonna say Mark Marquez took a pay cut going to Ducati, and he says crashed less, so his bike bills significantly went down. I'm sure.
Right.
That's the crazy part. What these riders have to pay for. Let's talk about Yamaha. Jonathan Ray and the boys, Garner, Locatelli, and the one other Agater. The Yamaha and let's throw Kawasaki in there. Outside of Lowe's, they got a chance because the Honda boys were finishing in front of those guys towards the end of the season last year.
I mean, it's a long season, a lot of races. I mean, I like Jonathan Ray. I mean, I'm the Ducati boys, like, they are strong. I mean, they have a lot, and I mean, like, not to throw off topic, but Top Rack was so dominant last year. I mean, if he didn't get hurt for 3 rounds or so, he probably would have blew everybody away. But I hope Yamaha can step it up this year, and they are looking good. I mean, it does say Jonathan Ray was pretty quick. I mean, the weather was a little iffy, so I mean, it wasn't a rain, but as far as Kawasaki, I'm always rooting for Gerloff, so it's good to see him out there on the Kawasaki. So hoping he can pull some strings, but I don't know. I mean, I think they'll be in the mix, but having a good chance, I don't know yet.
Oh, the Yamaha's like I tell you, was what, 6th last year, 6th, 7th place in total standings. So I mean, so he's solid. And to be honest, I would say he should have a better year this year. Johnny Ray, it's sad to see, but great as he once was. Every rider hits a point where they just kind of plateau and go downhill. And he's at that point now in his life. He's one of the older riders. He's just not getting wins anymore, So he's kind of on the slight decline. And it's sad to see like a legend go down that path. It's like, with Rossi, last couple years in GP, but I ain't like seeing Rossi in the back of the pack, I ain't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
So as a fan, you don't like to see it, but if you were Ray or Rossi, and you won 6 or 8 world titles, and now you're sitting in the back of the pack for a couple of years, you would rather you would hope you would retire versus to say, hey, I'll just ride it out, because it's what Jonathan Ray accomplished and Rossi.
Amazing,
yeah. So you think, I mean, because it's only 1 year off of the bike. Do you think that he's come out and said he thought about retiring as well? So I'm not going to say you're far off base, because the man thought about it himself. But do you think it's better to not see Jordan play the way he played at the end, and some of these guys not play the way, or is it beneficial for them knowing that they left everything out on the court?
I think for them, I think for them, it's beneficial because they know, what, it's time to go. That way you have no regrets about going too early. So I get it. But as a fan, it still sucks seeing your heroes fall off that way, It's like you said, Jordan playing for the Wizards, getting 15 points a game. Like,
he averaged 20 something a game. I mean,
it wasn't the same.
I know it's
though,
the Wizards, right? I know it's the Wizards, and it's like playing with kindergarten. He averaged 20 something points a game, even with the Wizards.
And seeing Tyson fight Jake Paul. Like, come on, man. Like,
the man made a lot of money.
I don't care about that part. I want to see Iron Mike, And I ain't see
But
Iron
you know
Mike.
that come on, that's
Yeah,
he
exhibition,
basically
but
faked that whole fight. He didn't even that wasn't even Tyson out there. That was a show.
yeah,
But talking about these riders, right? Yamaha, for example.
yeah,
Come on, man.
Locatelli, you know.
They were 10th and 11th. Some crazy thing. They were they mid pack.
Nah, not Locatelli. He was what, 7th last year, which ain't
No,
bad.
but I'm talking about in the testing. We're talking about the
Okay, okay,
testing this
okay,
year.
okay. Got it.
And we talking about strictly was 2025. But let's forget about last year. These people are all on different teams, baby. It's like MotoGP out there, man. Nothing is the same. Whatever you saw last year, last year is not this year.
Right.
Some of the most impressive riding are from the two boys that were on BMW that are now on Kawasaki and on a Ducati, which is my boy Gerloff and Scott Redding. Gerloff put that Kawasaki in 4th. They were the lap times reflect his ability. They both showing out right now. They say, yo, we were just done wrong. I don't know what Top Rack is doing on this bike. I don't understand how he's doing it. But look what happens now. I'm on a different bike, and this is what happens right off the bat. 1 day of testing, and basically half a day.
So
And that's impressive.
Is Top Rock Miles Davis and the rest are classically trained? They have to follow a certain method.
We don't know, because remember too, the new bike has a different suspension, I believe. They got new suspension on this bike, new aerodynamic, new aero on the bike. I think they changed the frame on the bike during the testing. So there's a lot of things that Top Rack might not be as familiar with this bike as he was last year. So, due to this injury on his finger, that he endured during what was he doing?
Enduro training.
No,
yeah,
he was doing some enduro stuff.
Yeah,
he was on the big bikes, on those GS 300 1300s.
It's all classified as training.
Yeah, him and Petrucci, they like doing that stuff. That
it's not just him.
Dracar stuff, yeah. But it's crazy, and the one thing that stays true is that the Ducati is the best bike, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 or 5 bikes in the front. That's crazy.
They got like 8
That's crazy. Not one Yamaha, and I don't think there's not one Honda. Oh yeah. Chavi
up, man. The Yamaha's
was in 7th.
Like I said, it's testing. They do have more parts coming in. So do other bikes, but like you said, I do want to see Cowie jump in the mix this year. And I think the way you described it, of learning from Top Rack, they'll have some sort of experience to bring to that team, and Gerloff, and I think Cowie would hopefully do something better this year than being in the back.
Okay.
You know what I'm excited about too in World Superbike?
What's that?
Axel Bassani, man. I really like him as a rider, and him being on that new B Moto by Kawasaki. I think that's gonna be. I think the bike looks great too. I'm definitely a Ducati fan, but I'm a huge Axel Bassani fan too, and to see him, in 5th with a new bike is huge, man. I'm excited for him.
Nice. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. The season's going to start in like 3 weeks. Do you guys have any prediction? Is it Ducati that's going to win it this year, BMW, or another manufacturer?
It's going to be Top Rack.
Come on, man.
All right, we got that.
I mean, TJ? I'm a root for I like Albert Bautista. I mean, he's probably not going to win it, but I think Ducati will figure it out. So I think someone on Ducati will pull it out.
I think Alvaro Bautista is the guy to beat. Seriously. But my secret card. Damn, I want to say it. I think Redding will be right there. I'm not saying Bulaga is not gonna go. I think he's right there with Batista. It's Bulaga or Alvaro. I mean, yeah, Bulaga or Alvaro. But my Dark Knight is Scott Redding, baby.
Okay.
Hold on. How you gonna say that Alvaro is the guy to beat when champion is Top Rack?
Nah, yo, you know how he won that, man. They put 20 damn pounds on my man with a broken neck.
Because he weighs 80 pounds, man.
What the hell's wrong with you, man?
He weighs 80 pounds naturally. He needs to add more weight to the bike.
Well, I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. He needed to add weight to the bike because the man is slim. Because I think
it's an advantage.
It's an advantage when it's cold out and you're a heavier rider.
Yeah, remember Pedrosa? The same thing. Yeah. Pedrosa was mad tiny, and that it was a disadvantage for him. The bike is too powerful, too much weight for him to move around. What you talking about?
On them straightaways?
Yo, no one is ever happy.
Tell you what, hey, you put 20 pounds and go and ride your bike, you will be slower. So all them guys that weigh more than Alvaro, the bike is slower.
That's not true. I know some guys.
And then
got
true,
some weight.
So you're talking about going straight. Now make the bike turn. Now turn the bike with 20 pounds on. And tell me which one's easier, 20 pounds less. So why are we changing our exhaust to lose weight on the bike?
But you also realize that.
Listen, most every track are straightaways. Correct? Right or wrong?
No, more tracks than straightaways. No, 100% one straightaway usually. I mean, the big like the pro tracks like MotoGP, a lot of Moto America, and yeah, there's longer straightaways, but it's mostly turns.
If you break it down and say, hey, okay, half of the track is straight and half is turns, most of the track are straights, then turns.
No, most tracks are turns.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
To me, like most tracks are definite. I mean, you can make a straight line.
That's the goal, is to make the turns as straight as possible, if that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. You can make a straight line, but that track is not straight.
Is an advantage, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. It depends. Because again, I think if you look at Alvaro, he struggles in the beginning because it takes him longer to heat up the tires because he's lighter. And that's why if the race is long enough, he catches up. Right.
Rex, not only that, he's short. He's super short. He's short. The dude is super small. No matter how you look, he's lighter, he's shorter, less muscle definition than everybody else. It's just a disadvantage all the way around. And I love Scott Redding and all that, and Jonathan Ray, not so much, but I get, they made a big out of this. They made a huge deal out of it. Get ready to eat your words this season because he's gotten it. He's figured it out. And it's over.
And he's one of the older riders on the grid too. They have to keep that it's literally like, and I don't mean no disrespect to Alvaro's career, but in 250 and 125, he was the man. And when he got to MotoGP, he's had a similar career to Aleix Espargaro. But when he got to World Superbike in his 30s, like he won 2 world titles at an older age. So he's not like it's not like it's Ika Lukono or Remy Gardner coming in. This is also an old dude. You're complaining about I don't want to call him your grandfather. It's easy just to make fun to say you complain about your grandfather, but it's an older dude. You're complaining like, oh, he's too light, and you're the younger statesman.
I guess.
Yeah, listen, that situation is crazy, but this is the year to prove it.
I believe
he's the man, and he's gonna win with the 20 pounds now.
Yeah,
what you gonna say?
So Alvaro 2025 is what you're saying.
Yes.
Nah.
I agree with that too. I mean, I was more the fact that when the rule change took effect, that Top Rock obviously had the advantage because he didn't have to change much. You know, a lot of riders had to differentiate. I can't say. A lot of riders had to change what they had to do, like distribute all the weight throughout the bike or whatever to equal out to whatever the playing field was.
You know what though?
He didn't change much.
In the history of motorsports, right? With motorcycles, whether it's dirt bikes or bikes that we ride, I've never ever heard a guy say, you know what, I want to gain weight to be a better rider. They all say, you know what, I gotta lose some weight. I've never heard one say, you know what, let's gain weight. Because it's not an advantage being bigger. It's not.
No. Yeah, but Pedrosa had to put on muscle to ride the MotoGP bike and be competitive, and so
stronger, but not gain weight.
Yeah, that's
stronger,
weight.
Yeah,
right now, if I show you a picture of me 3 weeks ago, and I show you a picture of me now, you'll see that I look more defined as far as muscle.
Okay.
But muscle is heavier than fat. So I'm heavier now than I was 3 weeks ago. I'm 210 pounds, 0.8. And when I started this challenge to lose the weight, I was 209. But I was 209. And you could tell I'm heavy. Like I look fat. Like I got.
Yeah, I can tell. You're definitely fat, man.
So now you just see more mass of muscle now instead of the fat, but I'm heavier. Muscle's way heavier than fat.
Yeah, it is.
You could look that up. And that's what we're talking about. Like that Alvaro cannot lose any more weight. He cannot lose any more size. All he can do is put on muscle to try to control this motorcycle.
Right.
Riders like Redding too. Redding cannot get any slimmer than he is. If you ever seen Scott Redding, he is a very skinny person, but he is probably 0% fat because he's just all muscle. This guy's every inch of him has to be muscle because there's nothing he could lose. He could only gain.
Yeah, so I feel bad for tall riders because it's definitely a struggle, as Smitty's talking about, with aerodynamics and weight and stuff like that. And when you're skillful like Peter Hickman or Bulaga is a tall dude too, when you're that tall and you still have to compete, I get all that, but
Loris Baz, another one.
That's what I was gonna say. It's always been when you see small people in sports where usually small people don't strive, in motorcycle racing may be the reverse. There's not usually a lot of tall people in motorcycle racing at the highest level, but nonetheless, they're there. And so I still don't agree. Like, Muggsy Bogues not complaining to say, hey, you should make the rim smaller back in the day, or whoever the shortest player now is in basketball, or the smallest quarterback, or the smallest whatever. They're not sitting here saying, hey, change the rules for us so we can compete at a different level because we're small. So it's weird to hear. And in tennis and all these sports, because the taller you are in tennis, you have more angles. There's certain sport, football, the taller you are, the better you are at seeing over everybody else. So you have an advantage. But you don't hear smaller planes saying, "Hey, we should incorporate some height rules." So for Scott Redding, and I didn't realize that Jonathan Ray was a part of that, to come out and say that
first. Jonathan
it's unusual, but usually tall people generally do better in most things when it comes to sports and stuff like that, except for when it comes to car racing, probably motorcycle racing and riding horse and maybe BMX.
So, I mean, I know we all know what it is, but I want to just read it. So it says the weight introduction was riders needed to add ballast to their bikes depending on how much lighter than the reference weight they are. The reference weight has been set to 80 kilograms. So, 80 kilograms, and riders under this need to add 0.5 kilograms for every 1 kilogram lighter they are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to add 20 pounds.
1 kilogram is 2 pounds. So,
2.2 actually.
2.2, you're right. But I want to know is who is this reference around? Is it around Top Rack? Like that's what I want. Like, what's the baseline?
No, because Top Rack don't weigh 160 pounds probably.
So,
Top Rack don't weigh 160 pounds himself. This is a figure, right? That they say. This is the average rider in World Superbike weighs this much. So we're gonna go and now build around that. If you're under the average, same thing in MotoGP. The average rider is 140 pounds. That's crazy.
Yes.
That is crazy. These guys are really like
light,
small, son, and light. You know what I mean? Like Rossi, that he's like 5. I don't know if he's 6 feet or 5'11".
Yeah, I think 5'10",
something
5'11",
like that.
around there. But you still got to be pretty slim.
but super skinny.
And he weighs 140. He could get on a bike right now and probably still weigh 140 pounds. These guys, it's insane that what they have to do to hold this type of weight throughout the whole season. And then even afterwards, I could imagine, I think, a rider like one rider that looks healthy, the healthiest looking rider to me in MotoGP is the champion. He looks like he eats what he wants and then he just works out indefinitely. Like,
he's fit. Yeah, he's fit.
Jorge is probably the healthiest looking rider in MotoGP. Everyone else, you could tell like they really like. It looks like they're starving to ride these bikes.
Lace looks real slim.
All of them. You go down the line. Think about it. Look at Marquez. Alex looks even crazier. They all Rins.
Not Zarco. Zarco surprises me.
I don't know how they do it.
So Zarco is smaller, so he gets away with that.
Yeah. I don't know how they do it, but it is what it is. You want to be competitive. Your diet's part of it. And if you are on the smaller side, now your muscle depends on it. Now you have to build muscle to really work these bikes. So it's the same in World Superbike. But the crazy thing is that I feel 20 pounds is an abuse. It's an abuse of power to get somebody to do that much in such little time from one day to the next. It's 20 pounds is the rule.
Yeah. And when it comes to the limit of the bikes and finding that limit, and now I riding this Ninja 400 for the first time over the weekend versus all the bikes I've ridden in the past and stuff like that, it would probably take me a whole season to get to where I have a complete feel for that bike. And it's not, and I'm no pro, and these guys are pros, but we saw how much Alvarez struggled and crashed out. I don't know what the stats are, but last year was one of the years that he crashed out a lot.
The most, yeah, and still was in the championship.
Yep.
Another thing that we're not talking about, we're talking about the weight. How about the power reduction that they put on Alvaro's bike 2 years in a row? You understand? Like, this guy has dealt with every type of regulation to make him lose, and he's still up there top 3.
Yeah.
And so this just doesn't happen in World Superbike. It happens in Moto America. It happened to Josh Herrin. It's happened to PJ Jacobson. Especially in the
super sport class.
In the super sport class. These guys, they try to make it fair, but sometimes when you go on the best bike, it's to make it unfair for you and fair for everybody else.
So
that's how you make things competitive.
So in super sport, I understand why they do that. The rule these next gen rules, you have 600s racing against 1000cc bikes, which is a leader bike. You know,
It's not fair to say it just like that. Don't do that.
no,
Don't
but
do
it
that.
is. But it
They're
is just
twins,
like
and
that.
they're twins, and they're twins, and they're twins. Not
Okay,
the
but
same.
Rex, mind you, if you go back 15, 20 years, a twin thousand bike, which was the RC51, was the world superbike type bike to ride against thousands only. So you're putting a 600 against those bikes. That's not
Right.
But
fair.
you're talking about
Right.
a
You know what I'm
1,000
saying?
cc, and then
Yeah.
then you're talking about 959 cc's. You know what I'm saying? At a lower compression. Also, listen, there's so many variables.
So it's
You
not
can
fair.
put
So they got to
here to
kind of,
there.
balance it out somehow.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely
know,
right.
but listen,
Yeah.
that's another thing that they changed this year. Ducati said, "Okay, you guys want a 600? We're gonna give you one. We're gonna
And they
give you a detuned bike now." So now, what you gonna say when Ducati wins it again?
Win what again, man?
titles, baby.
Titles.
What are we talking about, man? Come on. Win what? What are you talking about? Win what?
Yeah.
I'm a super sport now, man.
This is your best year to have a shot with your Honda, baby. You're like one of the last dinosaurs. True 600s.
Hey, yes, call it what you want, man.
I don't think Honda's gonna go anywhere. I do not believe unless Ducati has a reign like the Patriots. We can't say Honda's a dinosaur. They might have a blip in the grand scheme of how long MotoGP been around for 75 years. Honda has not had. This is just a blip on Honda's radar, on Yamaha's radar. Ducati, we're the ones that's trying to be the Patriots and have that dynasty. And I think that I don't know who it is that's over. Want to make it seem like Ducati's been having the reign that Honda and Yamaha has had. No, Ducati. We just got two here, and we got two in World Superbike, and we got one in the U.S. And people are acting like it's enough, and it's just the beginning, and so Ducati has a long way to go to sit here and go against the giants of Yamaha and Honda, for sure. And
That's right.
yeah, so this is Honda's gonna be back. I have no doubt of it. In history, Honda hasn't gone anywhere. They'll probably say they were on vacation for 3 years.
Right.
No, and I agree with that. I think Honda and Yamaha will come back. They're gonna figure something out. There's talks of Yamaha already with the V4 engine. I'm super hype about that. But listen, we haven't talked about something serious right now. Aprilia has gone balls to the walls. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
They said they bring in 10 bikes to the testing.
Okay.
10.
I mean,
they're telling Jorge Martin and Bezzecchi, don't worry about crashing. Let's develop the best bike possible because we want to keep that number one plate. It's gonna be crazy. They paid for that number one plate to keep that. I think Ducati said that they wanted $3 million.
Wow.
For the number one play. I believe Aprilia paid that price and said, Jorge Martin won it. Jorge's gonna race with number one. And they are going crazy with the testing. They're not playing no games. I'm excited to see it. Everybody elevate their game. Aprilia, Yamaha, and Honda, most importantly. We already know Ducati's up there.
Now, but sometimes bringing too many bikes to one test is not good, because you don't have enough time to really ride one bike and see what works and what doesn't work with it. So I think that could backfire sometimes. I think you should build maybe one or two bikes and build on that, but not bring too many. There's just too much.
No. The bikes are just, when they say they bring in 10 bikes, they say it's the most any manufacturer has brought. And it's for the purpose of that. If you crash a bike, you have another one. It's not just your A and B bike. They got your A and B bike like normal, but they're telling you ride without fear.
Gotcha.
We got more bikes.
Okay, then that makes sense then. No,
Okay.
so in the sense it's like you crash, no downtime, get on, the other bike,
We're getting the other.
They can't have no injuries, man.
Right. When you think about it, it's 10 bikes and 4 riders. So, you know what I'm saying? And there's only one rider that's familiar with the Aprilia, so they might need more than 10 bikes.
Gotcha.
Listen, that's a bold statement, man. Like to put that out there like that, yo, we bringing 10 bikes, and it's supposedly the most in history that a manufacturer brings out.
And
they're not playing no games,
right? And I think they should, because we haven't talked about KTM much, but I believe KTM threw everything at the MotoGP project to take it to where Ducati is. And I think that if you have the opportunity as a manufacturer, you have to do that. And so if Aprilia sitting here saying, hey, let's do it, you kind of have to, because the way the game is right now, if Ducati didn't have VW and Audi, come on, man, we'd be talking something different right now.
Right. But you heard about Baby Shark, Baby Shark to VR46, baby, coming to Ducati.
Well, there is that.
Oh my gosh, Smitty, I know you mad. You thought Honda was gonna get him. Ducati, Ducati.
I mean, is this what you're trying to allude, Track Stars, is that Pedro Acosta is going to the VR46 Academy? Is that what
this is all over the news?
That's the song that's all over the news.
Circulation.
Yeah, he's been hanging out with Rossi. When you get with the VR46 family,
giving them pointers.
In all fairness,
he might be wearing Diners soon, baby.
Right. In all fairness, Rossi, VR46 team was looking at him from Moto 2, right?
Right.
And the same thing with Furman Aldeguer. But I think the contracts, and I don't know how true this is on the KTM side of things, they lock riders up for some ridiculous amount of years in their contracts. And I think riders are just happy to get what they get and don't realize it until situations happen where, Valentino Rossi wants me to sign, but, you got a 2-year contract with KTM, so we'll bump you up to the KTM GP team, but we won't let you get out of your contract.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be tough because
I think it's
where's Gin Antonio going to go? The Gin Antonio, because Morbidelli ain't going nowhere. Morbidelli ain't going nowhere.
I also think
so just keep that in mind. Morbidelli's not going to go anywhere. So where's Rossi's not gonna. I can't see Rossi letting Morbidelli go and keep the Gin Antonio.
When Joss is available, you open the seas, man.
I also think is let
the sharks swim.
Pedro Acosta was worried about his career. You know what I'm saying? So for him to be a part of an academy, I mean, that would be good for him, especially at his age.
Well, I think so. I think people like Pedro Acosta have to be around winners like Marc Marquez, like Lorenzo, like Rossi. I think they need to be around somebody who have done it that way, and so that they can go further. I think is when you have I think Furman Aldeguer is the same as Acosta, but he's not proven it. But Acosta is definitely proven it. I think if you're Pedro Acosta, you want to go to the Yankees. You want to go to the Red Sox. You want to go to the Celtics. You want to go to, I guess, the Chiefs, if I got to pick another football team. You don't want to go to a team that's rebuilding or don't used to win but don't know how to win anymore. You want to be on a team that has a proven track record. And Rossi's still winning, even though he's not in MotoGP. He's got 4 wheels and he's still winning and finishing top. So if you're a rider and you feel you're the next Rossi and you see what he's doing and there's an opportunity for you to sign with him, I think if you're that kind of rider, you're going to want to sign to somebody like him or Marc Marquez or Lewis Hamilton, or any one of these, Serena Williams, anyone that's been proven to be able to win multiple titles, not just one.
But let's be real. The reason Acosta goes to VR46 is not just for the team. The number one reason he goes over there is for the opportunity to be on the Ducati. I think this is the God honest truth. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you do learn a lot. I mean, Pecco. I mean, that whole lineup. He's built champions, but the number one reason you go to VR46 is for the Ducati. If VR46 had transferred over to Yamaha, I don't think Pedro goes over there.
Okay.
Or has that consideration, even to get that experience from Rossi. He could get mentored by Rossi maybe another way without being VR46. But right now, MotoGP is about one thing, like every other race group. It's about being on the best bike. And the best bike, the winning bike, is the Ducati. So you better be nice to whoever has one, because that's where you want to ride. Boom.
I'm gonna leave it there, fellas, unless somebody wants to add something.
No, I think we're good though, you know.
Yamaha, you're gonna be upset, Track Stars. don't let it turn to Honda, because the Spitty's gonna be all over you.
No, I will say this. Who is it? Bezzecchi's done well in Moto 2. Morbidelli's won a world title in Moto 2. Pecco's won a world title in Moto 2. And obviously Pecco's won in MotoGP level, and I felt that Morbidelli was close. And Bezzecchi had his run. Is Pedro Acosta's run stand out more to you than those guys? Because those guys have had wins and have done well in MotoGP, came out of the VR46 Academy. Pedro Acosta, even as a rookie, did struggle, even though he's been on the podium and stuff like that. But he hasn't, shown that he's a Marc Marquez or Rossi after his first year. And it could be because of the manufacturer. So I'm not going to say it's not, it's all on him.
It's the new factor, Rex. Pedro Acosta just got here. He arrived and made noise. The only other rider in right now that you can give that type of credit to is Bastianini.
But Morbidelli made noise when he first came in.
No, yeah, but I'm saying like of the newer riders, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
The newer riders closest to Pedro is Bastianini. But the youthfulness of Pedro Acosta, you already know.
Yeah, Fernandez, these guys. Fernandez won a world title.
They the future, and you have to cuff them right now, because if you have them close to you right now, like a VR46 family can, it's over. The sky's the limit. Right. And he's just racking these kids up. I mean, like you say, VR46 is winning. Valentino Rossi's winning without even touching a motorcycle. He's winning championships without even winning the championship in MotoGP. And it just goes to say who he is and the impression he's left on a sport that he's not even playing. Same as the Michael Jordan effect, and it's few to none who possess that type of power.
Right, I completely agree with that. On that note, let's shout out our sponsors. I will say, we're about 3 weeks away from racing at the pro level. So I'm very excited. I can't wait. So let's shout out the sponsors, guys.
Yep. Shout out J&G Performance, Woodcraft Technologies, Official Vortex, and Hideaway RV Rentals.
It's your boy Smitty, Smith Shot Racing, Vortex, and Blood Lubricants. My sponsors right now, so tune in for them.
It's your boy Track Stars. I want to shout out Dineze. You already know, mentioned Track Stars at any Dineze store. Ducati, New York, baby. Get the best bike available at any Ducati dealership, but come to Ducati New York or your nearest Warhorse dealership so we could get you on the best bike. Not only in World Superbike, not only in Moto America, but in MotoGP, baby. Get your Ducati. Shout out to AEM Factory. Get your parts for your Ducati. Get the parts for your MV Agustas. Get your parts for even your KTM at AEM Factory. Shout out to HSBK. Call my boy Zach at HSBK Racing. Mention Trackstars to him, and he's going to take care of you. Okay? Show you some love. And that includes your Yamaha, your Honda, your Gixxer, Aprilia. They have any bike, parts for all your bikes. And you know, if you like the hats, you like the Warhorse gear merch, go to warhorse.nyc and use Trackstars23 at checkout and get a nice little discount too. I love you guys. Stay up on Tuesday, baby. It's going to be a good year, baby. And you on the right show listening to your boy. Forget these other guys. You know, TJ sometimes is on my side. Smitty, I don't know what we're going to do with him. Rex, he's the arbitrator here. So he flip-flops, but he's really Team Ducati, baby.
This guy, man.
Yes, I am Team Ducati, but I do like other bikes. And shout out to all your sponsors, you guys. In the East, if you're further east in New York, Freedom Cycles is the place to go. All the brands that Smitty mentioned, these guys have as well. If you like the slower pace, and you don't want to be a city slicker, definitely check out Freedom Cycles. We'll get you to all your brands for sure. I love the competition. At the end of the day, we're all trying to give you discounts in motorcycling, whatever you're doing. So regardless if it's TJ, Smitty, or Trackstars, or myself, if we're saving you money, you're winning. So definitely support all the causes, all these companies and stuff like that, because you are going to save money in the long run. We know the sport is very expensive and so forth. I want to thank everyone for liking and subscribing and commenting. Please continue to do it. And as they say in the city, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Fellas, I'm loving the new season. I'm loving the new look. We got hats on. We still got Smitty in the Honda. We're going to have to change that.
It ain't going to change, man. It ain't going to change.
I got a dream. Until next week, fellas, peace.
Adios.
Peace.